Let's freaking go with Matt on the YouTube and the chat, as always, to hype us up in the morning. Well, in the beginning of the show. It is Wednesday at 7 p.m.-ish. It is the 10 Count Podcast brought to you by Bodyslam.net. I am Ty. Across the screen from me is J Star. And we got a fun-filled week of wrestling to talk about. I mean, I'm pumped up. Raw was definitely better. We have some, stuff to talk about. We got a preview for SmackDown. Of course, NXT. We got Vengeance Day on Saturday. But I think we had a phone call we might have missed. There might be a voicemail on the line. Justin, is that true?
That's true. Let's get right into it.
What's going on, boys? Just wanted to give my 2 cents on the debut of Danhausen. I thought that was absolute ass cheeks, and not the good kind either. But Monday Night Raw, with that segment, with the Judgment Day and Danhausen, I nearly pissed myself. That's all I got, guys. Let's have a great podcast tonight, boys.
Thank you, Matt. And I'm curious, is the piss yourself good or bad for Raw? Because I felt the same way if it was a good piss yourself, because I did not like the debut at Elimination Chamber, but I was intrigued by how they handled his interaction with Adam Pearce. I was intrigued by the interaction with the Judgment Day. And I mean, Dom played himself. Dude doesn't know shit. He should have never talked crap to Danhausen. And the man got cursed, and we'll see. We'll talk about what happened later.
Yeah. So Chicago, the whole crate. I mentioned it, that the crate was excessive, right? I don't think they needed the crate. I think it could have just been Danhausen scaring the crap out of Adam Pearce, saying like, "Oh, whatever, like I'm free from wherever." Like they could have made a different joke about it. Do they want it to be over the top? I guess. Like, I understand it is what it is. But Monday Night Raw, man, I got pulled right back in. Danhausen he's awesomehausen. The mysterious Dominic is now cursed. He lost his IC title to Penta. And is he going to lose his AAA Mega Championship now? Is the mysterious Dominic now going to beg Danhausen to release him from this curse? I don't know, man. I can't wait to see what happens.
Let's look in the comments real quick. We have a few things. Matt on YouTube, only one way, but up since the debut. Leopard King on Twitch with the why didn't you like the debut? It was something different. Don't want to guess anything at a chance. WWE never said anything to push the crate at all. Yeah, they didn't. They kind of just left it out there. I think as fans, it's WrestleMania season. We're getting hype. There's teases of Jericho around. I think there's a lot of wrestlers that are on the free agency that people want to see, and people were kind of, hyping it up themselves, right? And I think WWE wanted that hype, right? Because everyone was talking it on social media. People were, were saying it was Danhausen. It could be Jericho. Who could it be? Is it a person at all? But yeah, it was interesting to go that route. It was definitely different, but it just, for my taste, I feel like, and we spoke about this last week, or maybe on Sunday we did, that it's the road to WrestleMania. You want the biggest of the biggest to be showcased. And for that, it kind of was just like a meh. I think Justin named our episode that last week, but that's how I felt. And then finally, his t-shirt is #1 on WWE Shop. Justin, take it away. I think you were the one that said it last week too.
Yeah, no, I said it. Danhausen is going to be a merch crusher. He is going to sell an insane amount of merch. That's what he does. Like, you go to his, I don't know if it's up anymore, but if you go to prowrestlingtees.com, that man, I think, has 12 pages worth of merch. Like, the merchhausen that guy is pushhausen is absolutely insane. And listen, the reason why I didn't really like the crate was just because, like Ty said, it's the road to WrestleMania. You're looking for that build. WrestleMania is the next PLE, but the way that they showed Danhausen on Monday Night Raw, I'm all aboard. I'm sure we're going to probably see Danhausen now on SmackDown. He's probably going to scare the crap out of Nick Aldis. He's 1-0 with curses right now in WWE. That man, if his curse numbers stay that high, there's a Hall of Fame induction guaranteed. Like, I know his Demandhausens, that Hall of Fame guarantee, Triple H is going to have no other option than to put that guy in the Hall of Fame.
I know. I'm excited. I was one to say, like, I wasn't the biggest fan of Danhausen or him coming to WB, but I did like how they used them on Monday. It was perfect. It was kind of what best case scenario for me for how they would use Danhausen. So I'm excited to see if he shows up on SmackDown, if he tweens between, Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. Matt, does he turn face to release the curse to link back up with Ray for his potential retirement match? That's interesting, right? Does the curse stay with him until he, sheds his old ways, or does Dirty Dom just like face off against Ray, face versus heel, in his retirement match? Does Dirty Dom retire Ray, or maybe Dirty Dom helps Gunther retire Ray? Who knows?
Yeah, it's interesting. I definitely am nervous about Dom and his AAA Mega Championship now. I think we're going to go from 2-belt Dom to no belt Dom, but I'm still hoping that now that we kind of have a clear face presence of Finn Balor, I'm still hoping that we end up with Balor and Dom at WrestleMania. That I know I said that I wanted the title on the line. At the time, I didn't know that he was going to get cursed by the very nice, very evil Danhausen. That's on me. I didn't know. But that match also doesn't need a title. Finn and Dom have been building up low key for a while, and I don't think that match needs a championship on the line. So I think we're going to see Dom drop the AAA Mega Championship, and then something's going to happen with Finn, and then he's just going to start losing his mind, saying, "Hey, you, Danhausen, reverse this curse, whatever you've done to me. Let's figure this out. I'm sorry." And we'll get back to it.
Yeah. Lambert King 2002 on the Twitch. Curious, why did Thunder Rosa get brought back before Britt? I think we've talked about this like till our face turned blue. I mean, Justin says it every time she's in Guantanamo Bay. She's just sitting there. Tony Khan does not want her in AEW for some reason. He doesn't want her out of AEW. So who knows? It doesn't make any sense. I think we're all confused about that situation. And is Io getting a match at Mania? I mean,
She better. She better.
She better. I think the way to go about it is have Asuka, Kairi, and Io kind of have a triple threat. You know, have Asuka, you know, bring Kairi to her tipping point, and you can also have Io try to help Kairi, and it kind of, you know, she kind of pushes that away too. So have the three of them throw down. It would be awesome to watch. They put on a spectacular triple threat match at Mania.
I can also see, like, we're gonna get into Monday Night Raw a little bit, but on Raw we saw Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come out. Rhea told Io to hold down Monday Night Raw for her while she goes over to SmackDown and deals with her Jade Cargill situation, which got a little heated online if we're being real. But I can see possibly like I know she said hold down Monday Night Raw, but when they meet face to face, what if Jade gets the upper hand on Rhea and then all of a sudden Io comes out on SmackDown, and then you can possibly somehow, I don't know what Julia's up to. Julia's holding that United States Women's Championship. I don't know what she's doing at Mania, but I would love to see Io Sky and Julia go at it.
I mean, Lamper even said, "Don't you guys agree? Julia doesn't fit WWE, to me at least." He said on the Twitch. I don't know. I think it's hard for international superstars to get over. Style. Yeah, it's pretty tough for that to get over for the WWE crowd. And so I don't fault her. I don't think she doesn't not fit. I think she just needs to find her way to be showcased more. Because look at Io Sky, you know, look at Asuka. You know, I was, when Asuka first came to WWE, you know, especially because that language barrier, I kind of was like wrote it off a bit. But she's super talented in the ring. She's adapting. They're you know, they're playing on her strengths. So I think they just need to find Julia's strengths in WWE and showcase that. And I think there's a possibility. And it's just a shame because right now, you know, Chelsea Green's hurt and whatnot. But right now, I feel like Chelsea Green should still be, in an alternate universe, be the United States champion. I know they're trying to get Julia propped up, but they're still not doing it the proper way. You know, Kiana James was in the Elimination Chamber, not Julia. So it's interesting that they keep bringing this championship back to Julia and then kind of sidelining her a bit. And I hate it, because if they just kept the title on Chelsea Green, she'd be freaking prancing around with that thing in AAA, in NXT, on SmackDown, and really making a presence for that championship. Obviously, she's hurt. You know, hindsight's 2020. But I don't know. I don't get what they're trying to do. But I think they are going to try to figure out how to properly get Julia used and showcased on SmackDown.
Just to go back to Chelsea, now that you brought her up, I'm still holding out hope now that we can, because it's been teased the past few weeks that we might be able to see a Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green match once Chelsea's healthy. Does it happen at Mania? I don't know. I mean, there's 2 nights of Mania, you know, it's not going to be a championship match, but that's a match that I would absolutely love to see.
Yeah. And I don't know. I hope Chelsea is cleared by Money in the Bank, because I feel like she should be the front runner to win.
She's scared of heights, brother. She's scared of heights.
She's conquered it, dude. She's been up that ladder and she fell a long distance into tables. So I feel like that could conquer that fear. I mean, hell, it would conquer my fear if I survived a long fall like that and hit a table. I mean, who knows? And yeah, and Lamper King also said, you know, maybe they don't know how to book her, and that's how I feel. I think they're just trying to figure out how to properly use Julia. But sorry, got a little cough. But I do want to get more into Raw a bit. You know, a lot kind of went down, and I'm curious to know, Justin, how you felt about the opening segment with the Vision. We had a bunch of masked men roaming around. Seth comes out, bashes Paul Heyman with a sick chair shot. He put all that effort into it. It might have been harder than when he turned on Roman when he hit Paul, and then
it was loud, dude,
with the stomp. And then we see kind of like craziness ensue. Heyman's bleeding. He's in the ambulance, but LA Knight's in the ambulance, and I forget who attacks Austin Theory. But it's kind of feeling like the Vision right now is kind of the tail end of a joke, because when you have like LA Knight doing like a Slim Jim kind of, pump up and driving the ambulance away and stuff, it just, the division seems like it's on the reels right now. And I'm hoping that they can, when Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker come back, kind of bring that strong domination presence back to the group.
Yeah, I was fine with the opening segment. I don't know which direction they're going with, because I know you have Lamper, who said a little bit ago, I'm just going to pull it up, we are getting Seth versus Braun guaranteed. I don't know if it's guaranteed. I know that they are hoping that Braun is back in time, because that would be what they want to do. But I don't know. And I feel like we might get Seth versus Logan, or hell, that Brock Lesnar is still very tight with Paul Heyman. Maybe Paul Heyman calls in a favor and we get the Beast versus the Architects part, whatever. I know that they fought
Beast versus the Beast Slayer. Come on, man.
Well, yeah, all right, at the time, but he was the Architect too. Maybe we get that at Mania. I don't know if that's written in stone. Whatever they're trying to do, they're trying to keep an open mind with Seth Rollins and the Vision, just because they don't know if Braun Breaker is going to make it back in time for WrestleMania. But I was fine. I was fine with it. And then obviously you had LA Knight driving Paul Heyman away. Like you feel that LA Knight is going to somehow be involved with, I don't know. LA Knight can be in a bunch of different things, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like, obviously, because the injuries, they have to change up. But, we went from this dominating force to now they're kind of like the butt end of a joke right now. And I'm not like, I don't want to shut on it, because obviously I got to let this stuff play out. But right now, like, that just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And I know it's Logan Paul and I know it's Austin Theory, but they're pushing Logan. I mean, at the end of the day, I think Logan should have been the member to hit the EC if Braun Breaker wasn't there. I think he brought that highlight factor to the Vision and to that match. And hey, they had him pin 3 people before he, got cheated out of his Elimination Chamber run. But I don't want them to just fall off, because I would love to see what happens with the Braun Breaker, with the Bronson Reed, or does the Vision just disappear into existence before Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker come back?
I don't know. Like, I feel like they have to kind of, like, what they're doing. Like, I know you said that they're kind of making them look like a joke, but right now, if you're thinking about it, the Vision's luck is very down. It's down in the dumps, man. You lost your main guys. You've lost Braun Breaker. You've lost your muscle in Bronson Reed. I feel like they kind of have to feel like they're faltering, and they're not going to survive until eventually something happens where all of a sudden they're building up again. They're getting stronger than ever. But right now it's not a great look, and who knows which way they go. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's the sucky part too, right? Because I feel like this happened last year, where we were kind of throwing together matches the last month to have a whole WrestleMania card. And I get it's because it's 2 nights now and they have so many more matches to fill. But I do miss the days where we had the matches set 2 months, a month and a half out, and we were just pushing programs, and it was fun, and it was exciting, and it was violent. And that lead up, you had those sick video packages where you just had awesome rock music, and you're seeing all the great moments, and you're just hyped up for that to happen and that match to finally happen at Mania. And now it's just all right, here's a 2-week package of what happened. Great.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just a little bummed by it. I do kind of want to dig into what Matt said with Rhea and Jade, if it's a work, or does Jade have legit backstage heat because the social media blew up. I don't know. I know people were chirping about, this is typical Jade, or, Jade has to pull. I personally, if it's a work or not, I don't care. This is what kind of I think we needed for this match, because there is no history between Rhea and Jade, and this is creating that drama. And if it's real, hell, maybe they'll hit each other a little bit harder in that match, and maybe we'll get a little more fire in these promos. But I think it just gives some extra backbone to what we're going to see. So I I'm impartial to if it's a work or not. I'm just happy something's happening to kind of ignite this kind of feud going into WrestleMania.
So I'm actually going to plug the Body Slam Patreon right now, because if you were subscribed for $5 a month, the price of a coffee, you would know that I'm just going to read it out. So I'm giving you guys a little tidbit. If I get in trouble, I'm sorry. I'll take the heat. But sources indicate to Body Slam that Rhea Ripley legitimately was upset with Cargill, saying that she spends hours talking to creative, which is why she posted on her Instagram story last night ahead of Raw before deleting it. Another source indicates that despite there being some sort of legitimate bad blood between the two, there will be no issue with them working together as we head to WrestleMania. There is said to be no heat for the exchange, but there was a sense of disappointment as this wasn't part of the story that was supposed to play out on TV. So you get that little tidbit from our friends over at Body Slam, the guys who are working hard to give you all the information. All you got to do, $5 a month, little subscription, and you would know that information. But yeah, listen, then there was a video of Chelsea. I guess she was on with Denise Salcedo, and Denise started rattling off names, and Chelsea just started talking and came up to Jade, and she just instantly said, bitch. And then there was a lot of chuckles, but then she goes, oh, I meant that bitch. Like, she's that bitch. Yeah. And, you know, there might be some bad blood.
I do want to dig into Piggy Banks on YouTube said they don't build storylines anymore. It's so disappointing, man. It hurts my soul. I've talked about this so many times. It's been a while, but I miss the 3-4 month long programs between wrestlers feuding over a belt. I miss, the trading of titles we've seen with Edge and John Cena, or John Cena and Orton. Like, the reason why they have, John Cena's at 17 and Randy Orton's going for 15 is because back in the day, I feel like I'm so old, but it's a shame that they don't kind of give that like up in the airness to the title. And Lambert King disagrees with no storylines. I listen, they do have storylines, right? They do, but not how they used to. They'll flesh out something for a month maybe, and sometimes they have people intertwine. But what I'm talking about is go back in the early 2000s, late 2000s, even early 2010s. These awesome programs between John Cena and Edge, John Cena, and then you throw RVD in there to kind of keep it fresh, right? When they had that triple threat match, Edge and John Cena, when John Cena went to ECW One Night Stand and Edge screwed over John Cena for RVD to win the title, like, it's that kind of stuff that I really enjoy. And Lambert King kind of says, building Randy and Cody since he came back. Sure, they teased it, right? They're alluding to it, but they're not. When you're in the storyline, it kind of happens quickly nowadays, in my opinion. It doesn't happen the way I miss it happening back in the day. That's why I'm saying that. And Stussy6 also said, I miss when the WWE title just changed hands back and forth between Cena, Edge, Randy, Triple H, between. Yeah, I mean, it was fun because they would have it for 60 days and then you'd have a new champion and you'd be like, holy crap, that was quick. And then sometimes they go for 100 something days and then you have a 30-day title reign. I miss the unknown of who is going to be champion, because at any moment someone could win that belt.
Yeah, no, you're saying it correctly. Stussy says, how's it going? It's a Wednesday night, Stuss. It's a Wednesday night, and we are here. The 10 count is here. We still have a lot to get into. Do you want to jump into our NXT predictions, or you just want to keep going with the chat?
Yeah, let's go for the chat for a little bit longer. We have a lot of comments that I kind of want to dig into too.
Yeah.
Piggy Banks said the storylines are like sitcoms. They used to be sagas. Yes, that's a perfect way to put it. And Lambert, I know you're talking about Becky and AJ, the Vision storyline, but again, it's not so storylines in the sense of the match saga, as Piggy Banks said. It's not like the Vision has been going, right. We had the Vision happen at Mania, and it's kind of transgressing, but it went from like the Vision with Seth to then him and win the championship, right? So it's a long story. But what I'm talking about is more like these programs when it's a feud, and it's not just like different people popping in. It's these feuds that center around the championship. Like, I'm trying to think of other examples. When you had The Rock and Stone Cold, the WWE ECW Alliance, WCW ECW Alliance angle, where it was a constant like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just you have to witness it yourself with how programs used to be structured back in the day. It just I think Piggy Bank said it the best. It's like sagas back then. It just like every moment mattered and it was intense and you loved it, and these packages would roll out and you'd be like, holy shit, like this has been a war this entire time between these two individuals.
Yeah, no, you said it. And listen, I don't want to say that there's not storylines, you know, and I think you went back on that saying like there are storylines, but also like I don't know what this year is missing. And I'm not trying to like, I love WWE. I'm not trying to shit on it, but I said it on Sunday when we had our quick count. Like, I just feel like there's the build up to WrestleMania this year has been lackluster at best. And I'm hoping that changes Friday night after SmackDown. Like once 11 p.m. Eastern hits, I think we're going to have a very clear picture of what we're in store for when it comes to that heavyweight championship and what else. And we're going to get into that because I know I had an opinion on Sunday and now my opinion's kind of changing from there, and hopefully they can start building, but the matches aren't set in stone and we're only a few weeks away from Mania. So like, I understand, like Ty's kind of saying is back in the day with WrestleMania, you knew like 2 months, 3 months, like they were building for 2-3 months where you finally got to that match and you're like, all right, here we go. Let's hear some Limp Bizkit and let's watch some, you know, let's watch, you know what? Yeah. Let's watch like a sick highlight video and just amp ourselves up, where right now that's unfortunately not the case.
Piggy Bank is missing buildup. There is none. They might as well put Chris Jury in charge of creative.
Easy.
So like, what was Jury a better hockey player than he is a coach? Is this what's going on with the Rangers?
All right. Listen, this is our this is our wrestling podcast. I choose not to talk about the New York Rangers here. I get very, very aggressive with the New York Rangers. So, yeah, Chris Jury just sucks. Let's just put it that way. Chris Jury, he's awful. And he's ruined the New York Rangers, and I can't wait for him to ruin the New York Rangers more by Friday come 3 p.m. after the trade deadline. All right, what else we got?
So Stussy Six said some
drowning pool. Yeah, dude. Like, yes.
But also, I want to go back to Lambert King. Kalani Lola has been great, and Solon Zarya. Again, there are storylines, right? There are, and even to kind of counteract the Solzaria, it just took too long. There's things that should be happening that I guess I'm being picky, right? And it's our podcast. I have my opinions, and I guess I can be a little picky on here. But yeah, I felt like that went too long. I like the Kalani and Lola stuff. It's been fun, you know. It's been teased since Kalani, you know, was TNA champion and came back to the locker room, and Lola was like, "Oh, welcome back," and it's gonna be cool to see that, which we'll have our predictions in a little bit. But yeah, sorry,
Lamper. As we're talking hockey, Buffalo making moves, not so fast. I don't know if the clause was waived, so I don't know if Pareko is actually going to Buffalo. We also have Lamper. The NXT Women's Division is head and shoulders. Oh, I mean,
always is.
We've discussed that the women in NXT are unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable, and that's why you see. I mean, I think we said it last week. We said it probably a month earlier. Like, that's why you see when you're watching NXT on Tuesday night, when you're having in-ring action, most of the time it's a women's dominated match card because they are just that much better right now.
Yep. Piggy Bank said, I went to 5 Manias when I was younger, very jealous, and all of them had massive buildups through multiple PLEs.
And it's just different.
And that's the thing, because like once they took away the rematch clause and the champion can't fight back, that's kind of what threw this all away. Because you used to have, you know, key in point, Triple H Batista. Batista, you know, picks Triple H, power bombs him through the table. Triple H loses at Mania. They have a match at Backlash, which Triple H loses again, and then he finally gets, I think it was either a cage match or a Hell in a Cell in the third pay-per-view after that. And it was an awesome saga. It was sick. Like, just from Evolution to those 3 matches back to back to back, It was amazing. And that's kind of why. And I guess you can kind of relate it a little bit to Cody and Drew, what's going on with them. But that I feel like that's more forced, right? That's more forced than what we got with that organic Triple H and Batista moment with him being an evolution and the big turn on them. So I don't know. Maybe I am being picky and I just miss the good old days in my opinion, but I digress.
Lamper King on Twitch. Do you guys know why the Iconics went to AEW? I'm not sure. I don't know if they were even. I know Sean Spears like put out a little subliminal tweet. Obviously, he's in NXT. His wife was a free agent. They decided to debut in Australia. We went over that. They didn't even debut on air. It was definitely a choice by AEW. I'm not sure. I don't have the, I'm not that inside on the insiders. I don't know, but I hope them the best. I know that I think they're going to have a match this week with the Brawling Birds, and I don't know what they're going to do with them. Lamper, am I right to say Izzy Dame is most improved? Izzy has been phenomenal. Listen, JC Jane as well. JC is right up there because when JC was kind of she was not the main act of Fatal Influence, but like even behind Mandy, everyone's like, oh, maybe she's going to be next to get cut. Gigi Dolan gets cut, right? And now JC Jane has just taken off and she's been phenomenal. So I would say Izzy Dame and JC Jane are 1A, 1B with most improved from NXT. Obviously, everything is subjective respectfully, and that's why we love this podcast. This is why we love talking, because listen, this is what we love to do. We love to debate. We love to hear people's thoughts, and this is just why we love to do this. I look forward to every Wednesday night after work because we get to do this. On Raw, on Stussy on YouTube on Raw. We would even sometimes get the rematch on the Raw after the pay-per-view. Lamper King, I think Bailey is going to AEW in December. I don't know. I hope not. I feel like I don't want to say she would be like, I don't know. I hope not. I hope she's a WWE lifer, but it's her call. Bailey's a role model. Bailey is one of the best women wrestlers on the planet. It's her decision. Whatever she decides to do once her contract is up, I will fully support whatever she wants to do. Piggy Banks on YouTube. If they put Cody in the match at Mania, they won't have him lose 2 years in a row. Cannot wait to talk about that. I cannot wait to talk about that. So hold that thought. And then we're just trying to catch up. The bangs really made a difference. I'm assuming that is based on Bailey. I'm not sure. And then, do you guys know if Rio signed with WWE or if Nikki Blackheart? I think Nikki Blackheart's going to go to. I think she's WWE bound. I'm not sure about Rio.
I do want to talk about two things before we hit into our predictions. One is Cody, right? And two is the final segment of Raw last night, which I loved. Yeah, I want to get into it. CM Punk and Roman. Roman thought he was a big hot shot on the mic, stuttering through his promo because come on, show up, man. Keep those promo skills fresh. You don't want to go back to sucker and succotash. Come on. And granted, it was a good promo. I'll give him that, right? People make mistakes, but Punk murdered that man. Literally and figuratively murdered that man on the mic. Grabbed him by the arm like he was a little boy, like Roman was complaining about the weeks prior. I was going to say a week ago, but he hasn't been around Raw in 4 weeks. And then kind of told him off. Said, who's we? Because he keeps saying we in these promos, which I laugh about. Like, what? You're like the brass? You ain't shit. You're not around to do anything. Punk's no puppet for Roman. He's like, where's your Samoan goblins in your pocket? And then told him, like, you just made this personal. You're going to be on the list that people have buried, and I'm going to bury you next to your father. Mic drop, walked away. Loved every second of it. It's just a shame because we could be having these moments since that first moment, I think 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now we're playing catch up. And as CM Punk said, he's got to carry his bullshit all the way to WrestleMania. He's been doing it. He's going to continue doing it until he beats him and retains that championship.
Yeah, dude, Larry. I know Larry just recently passed CM Punk and AJ Lee's dog. Larry's not safe anymore. I'm afraid that Larry is going to get brought up in Roman Reigns' next promo. Stussy, real quick, I was talking about JC's hair. That makes sense now with the bangs. Lampert, thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in, brother. Thank you as always. And then Stussy, Roman took a shot at me in his promo. No, you're not the virgin that he was just describing. Stussy,
hey, listen, I have a confirmed child. It is mine, so I have at least one down. All right, I can confirm one, so I am not a virgin.
But yeah, it seemed like Roman was stuttering a little bit on that promo, like you said. Obviously, we've discussed that CM Punk is one of the best on the microphone, and he showed it. And I'm now it's like, I don't think Roman's showing up on Raw next week. So now we have a down week with Roman. And then I think we have 3 weeks in a row of Roman back on Raw. But it's like,
thank
all
you
right,
for gracing us with your presence, sir.
Yeah, it's like we had that awesome segment between the two, and now it's just going to be like dead air for a week. I don't know. I know that they're going to get to it and they're going to do what they got to do those 3 weeks that he's there. But for me right now, it's like, oh, we just like, that was awesome. I want more of that. Now it's just, oh, we're not going to get it on Monday Night Raw.
That's all right. I think Punk will carry the slack next week. I'm just a hater, man. I'm going to full on say it. I am a Roman hater. I try to be open-minded sometimes, but it just doesn't happen. Slushy 6 on YouTube. If Roman brings up Larry, Punk could bring up Roman's brother. I mean, this can get real personal. There's a whole slew of things that can happen. I don't think it will. Maybe it does. Maybe they kind of want to, hit at the heartstrings since Roman's not going to be around as much to kind of up the ante on the tension and how personal this is. So I guess we can see, Matt, on YouTube, if Roman has outside help, does Chris Jericho debut at Mania during Punk Roman match with the list line? I was gonna say, I did notice that Punk did mention, and he said, "You just made the list," and then I was like, "Oh, whoa! Like, what did you say?" And like, we know how WWE loves to do those subtle teases and whatever. Like, I mean, the debut, the walk-in into Cody Rhodes was legitimately like to a T. Like, oh, like this is going to be a nightmare for Seth Rollins, blah, 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 blah. And just every single week, it just led up to this. I don't know if they know that Jericho's going to be his contract frozen, whatever, if that's going to be done by Mania. Sure. Like, maybe. Is it a great way to bring Jericho back? I don't know, but I definitely noticed the list line 100%. It stood out to me. Can I just say I am very proud of this chat. I acknowledge this chat. We got Sussy 6 with the thank you, Tribal Chief. Always thank the Tribal Chief, right? Thank you for showing up. Piggy Bank, it's fine. He'll tweet. Obviously, he's got to make sure everyone sees his Twitter fingers. And Lamper King 2002 on the Twitch. I'm moving that way. It's frustrating. Punk needs to win. That man does need to win. And then Matt on YouTube, Easter eggs. I mean, yeah, I love the Easter eggs they have for Cody, for people that have debuted, and hopefully that line by Punk saying you just made the list was one of those Easter eggs. But I'm glad we're all on the same page. I like that. I am a hater. I will admit that to a freaking T. I'm not afraid to admit it. If we ever get Roman on this show, he'll probably grill me or just spear me through the screen. Or if it's in person, maybe spear me in person. And then Justin can start the interview and then also end the interview because I'll be in the corner injured. Anyway, let's get into Cody, man. SmackDown. Dig into it. Yeah. So last week I said it was messy, right? Everything is just way too messy. There's no direction right now. And I still kind of feel that way. But I because now if they go the fatal 4-way, which people are saying that they might, right? If they have the match, Drew Cody, Jacob Fatu comes out Friday night, he interferes, and
then you have Randy come out. Randy can interfere. And then Nick Aldis says, all right, I've had enough. All four of you. This is the match. Then Randy has a gripe, right? Randy won Elimination Chamber fair and square. He won. He deserves a title match one-on-one at WrestleMania. So now I'm feeling that Cody might win Friday. I think Cody might win Friday. I think we're going to get Randy Cody at WrestleMania. And then I think it's finally going to come out that it was Drew McIntyre that attacked Jacob Fatu and made him go to the dentist and get dental work. And then we're going to get Drew and Jacob. Now, do I agree with that? No, because I think Drew McIntyre deserves to be in one of the main events at WrestleMania, walking in as champion. Am I going to get that? I don't know, because there's two options. It's going to be a triple threat, but then you're losing Jacob now because now you have four of them involved, or Cody wins, Cody Randy, and Jacob Drew. And then you're going to need a heel champion or a heel in that match. Randy's a face right now. Cody's a face right now. So whoever walks out of that Mania match, if it's a heel Cody, I'm all for it. Hell yeah. And I said it last week. Give me that. But right now it's just way too all over the place.
Yeah, I 66 on the YouTube. They'll end up having a 12-way for the undisputed title. It feels that way, man. It really does. And Piggy Bank saying he either drops the belt or they set up a fatal 4-way. Lambert King, actually, let's go to that. End SmackDown with a punt. That would be awesome. I would love that. If they were to go the Cody Randy route and Cody wins, have Orton punt Cody. I mean, granted, usually the punch used to like take people out for a while. I feel like they can maybe, have Cody show up and like, oh, you're not medically cleared this week and kind of add him that way. But that would be epic for Orton to go heel and punt Cody. Granted, I do want to see Cody turn heel more than Randy. Maybe. I love our heel Randy Orton. But I do want to see this version of Cody turn heel. But I would love that. That would be epic as hell.
Yeah, they've just been, once again, they've been teasing subtly Cody turning heel. Cody's more aggressive on the mic. Cody is cursing on the mic. You don't have a baby face, a super over baby face cursing during his promos, his segments. Cody's being more aggressive with Sami Zayn. We said it last week. If we're going that route and we get Randy and Cody, I am hoping it is Cody Rhodes that turns out to be the heel in the whole thing, and we get a run as heel Cody Rhodes.
I mean, Piggy Bank said it best too. They should have Orton win and build Orton and Cody SummerSlam, or vice versa. 100%. Right. I think that'd be an amazing, and that's the kind of like, I would love that package, that feud to happen through the summer, especially if they can trade the title a few times. I give Orton 15, 16, right? And then he can stay at the cups there. And does he tie Cena? I end up beating Cena? Who knows? That's for the future. But I think it'd be cool to see Randy Orton go 15, 16 through the summer with Cody and trade the title. It would be awesome. And then Celeste 6 said Logan Paul has a valid case for being in the match too. He was dominating the chamber till right. And maybe Seth can get involved too, since a member of the Vision's involved. I mean, we almost got 12 superstars that way. Shit. Yeah. Make it that what was it? What was that match called? The scramble, the WWE Championship scramble, where whoever gets the last pin wins, in the 20-minute time frame.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah, I'm hoping, I'm begging, I'm pleading that come Friday night, 11 p.m. Eastern, we know which direction we're going in.
I agree.
Because it's all over the place. It's absolutely all over the place. Like, you still have Drew McIntyre and Nick Aldis yelling at each other. And I said it last week again, I feel like a broken record. I want to see Nick Aldis fight in WWE. I do. But it can't be at WrestleMania. Let it be down the road. Let Drew come back after he loses the title, and now he's pissed at Nick Aldis for SummerSlam. Sure. Drew McIntyre, Nick Aldis, SummerSlam, end the feud. I'm here for it, but it can't happen at WrestleMania. And unfortunately for the Drew McIntyre fans, I don't think we're going to see Drew McIntyre walking into WrestleMania as champion.
Yeah, I don't think so either. We have 15 minutes. Let's dig into this predictions for Vengeance Day. Do we want to? Do we want to continue that way? Do we want to do the predictions?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to.
Okay.
so
Let's
we're
get
gonna we
into it.
definitely we gotta get
Let's get into it. I guess first off, we have Tony D versus Dion Lennox in a singles match. Tony D has had a Warpath against Dark State, and man, I honestly think Tony D is gonna come out on top. I feel like he's gonna dismantle Dark State a little bit, and maybe this is the beginning of the end for Dark State, and then Dion Lennox can kind of be on his own and be showcased on his own. I could be completely wrong, but the way they're showcasing Tony D and bringing him back, I feel like for him to lose would just make zero sense. So that's why I'm going with Tony D.
Yeah, no, 1000%. I'm with you. Tony D, he's just dismantling Dark State, like person by person, week by week, Tuesday night by Tuesday night. And now Dion Lennox wants a piece of him, and it's got to be Tony D. Tony D came back for a reason. It's to destroy Dark State. So he's going to do what he's going to do.
I wonder if he put a horse's head in each of their beds before the night he took them out.
Jesus Christ.
It's the mafia style. Let's get into the street fight between Jada Parker and Blake Monroe. What are you thinking?
I think your girl Jada is losing again. That's what I think. Blake Monroe is pulling out the dark side again, and Blake really needs to win, dude. And Jada, I know you love Jada, but she's going to be on the short end again. I'm going with Blake Monroe.
Yeah, unfortunately, they both need to win. I feel like they've both been on the short end of the stick for a while now. I mean, it was unfortunate. Blake wasn't supposed to be. Her future was as the NXT North American champion. Unfortunately, we had, that error where she didn't kick out in time and Thea Hale became the champion. I love that Thea Hale beat Blake Monroe again because of Jada Parker. I thought that was a cool moment to have happen again. But this one's tough for me because you're right. I feel like Blake Monroe has to win this. And I don't want it to be at Jada's expense, but here we are. It's going to have to be. Maybe we're seeing this differently, and Blake Monroe has to hit rock bottom before she can really bounce back up, and Jada wins. So I might just go against you for the hell of it and pick Jada Parker to win this one.
Yeah, it's not for prediction league, so we can go against each other here.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, support your girl, right?
Got it.
You love Jada, go with Jada.
Going with Jada. Lambert King 2002 on Twitch says, does Anna Jay debut Saturday? That's a nice prediction. What do you think?
I just don't know when her contract is up. She's still on the AEW women's roster, and we know that AEW is very on point with removing people from their roster page when their contract is up. We saw it with Danhausen. Danhausen was on that roster page up until I think Saturday afternoon. Yeah. And then out of nowhere, he's gone, and it's Danhausen coming out of that crate. So as far as, even with Chris Jericho, you can monitor that AEW roster page as much as you'd like. Check it every few hours. If there's a change, then you might see something happening. But if you see Chris Jericho with his stupid little wave and smile, then I don't think he's going to, come Mania. Then he's not debuting at Mania. He's not coming back at Mania. And the same goes for Anna Jay. Just continue to, it's a little, I don't have the inside scoops. I'm not on that part of Body Slam, or we're not on that part of Body Slam. But if you want to constantly check that roster page, man, they are on point with removing people once their contract is up.
I feel like by doing that, they add the suspense and the shock value to what WWE does. Because you're like, oh, it can't be. He's still on the roster page. And you're like, okay, who can it be? If it can't be this person because they're still on the roster page, and you're hoping and waiting. And then the day of, it's like, oh, shit, maybe it is. And it brings the hype back because you're doing it the last possible second. It's definitely...
with Danhausen, it was literally, I think, hours. Yeah. Hours before, I think, the show started, he was finally removed. And then there you go, Danhausen. And just real quick, because now that we're back on Danhausen quickly, you had Matt up here on YouTube. Wait, how was Danhausen under AEW contracts till February 28th, but was able to talk to WWE under AEW contract? when it comes to, like, we talk about contract tampering with NHL, I feel like it's completely different with professional wrestling. Like, it is what it is. People can, I'm sure CM Punk probably had a conversation with Danhausen, and CM Punk just happened to drop some information to Triple H. Danhausen wasn't being used. Danhausen asked for his release a year and a half ago, and Tony Khan didn't give it to him. So, I mean, rightfully so, Danhausen should have been upset. I think he had 9 matches on TV in like 3 or 4 years that he was with the company. But when it comes to contract tampering in professional wrestling, there's definitely workarounds, let's say, to get that done.
Let's get steer course back to the Vengeance Day PLE on Saturday. We have Lola Vice and Kalani Jordan in an NXT Underground match. We saw some Shayna Baszler appearance to help Kalani kind of train for this. She said, "Take that gymnastic shit out of here. It's not going to work." What do you think, man?
I'm going to go with Lola. I'm going to go with the former MMA fighter here. So I'm going to go with Lola Vice. And she's still doing her thing in AAA as well. So they're trying to use her more. They're trying to build her up more. So I think this would be the perfect way to continue the momentum for Lola Vice.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right. I think she does one. I feel like she can't lose this to someone who's Kalani's training with Shayna Baszler for a reason. She's trying to learn how to be an underground fighter. I think she's going to give a valiant effort, Kalani. And I love Kalani and I love Lola. And I just think that it wouldn't make sense for Lola to lose this kind of match for someone so green to fighting underground that like Kalani is, especially if she's enlisting the help of Shayna Baszler.
Yep.
So that's my opinion. So
couldn't agree more with you.
Next we have Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley for the NXT North American Women's Championship. I am excited for this one, folks. They had a nice sit down last night. It was very fun. They had the dollhouse with we saw Lyra Valkyrie in there. We saw the Culling in the playhouse. I mean, I feel like as much as we talked about Izzy Dame and how she's as one of the most improved women on the roster, and how becoming she is, I think Tatum's going to take this one, man. I have a feeling that Tatum was the NXT Women's Champion. They were propping her up just for, Izzy Dame to get jealous and screw her over. And now, we have that full circle moment here where Tatum can then take the championship from Izzy Dame. And I think that's the route they're going to go.
Once again, I'm agreeing with you. I also have Tatum beating Izzy. And it's so funny because we just mentioned a few minutes ago that it's between Izzy and JC for like 1A, 1B for most improved. But I just feel like this story finally needs to end.
Yeah.
Like this is one of those, all right, we've had 3 matches now or 2 matches, whatever it's been. And I just feel like Tatum needs to get her title back. So I'm with you. I think Tatum wins back the Women's North American Championship.
Well, Tatum wasn't North American champion.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, continue.
And then finally we have Joe Hendry versus Ricky Saints for the NXT Championship as the main event of the evening. So we'll throw it. Slessie 6 said Tatum, please. Couldn't agree more. We saw the Ricky experience, which I enjoyed thoroughly.
Oh, wait. You enjoyed that little concert that he put on?
Yeah. Did I enjoy the concert? No, but I enjoyed what he was doing in it, right? He was trying to mock it. He was trying to make it bad. He was trying to, play the yin to the yang of what Joe Hendry does. He was purposely butchering it to make people hate it. And that's what I appreciated about it, was that he was being such an asshole and a narcissist about how he was going about that concert. And then to top it off, we saw, the highlight of the night, Hendry handing him the guitar, and he's like, "Oh, give me that!" And then he gets whacked with it. I thought that was awesome. I thought they handled that perfectly, and I think again that segment did what it needed to. I think people, it was supposed to be that bad and that cringeworthy for people to hate, because that's what Ricky was going for, in my opinion.
Yeah, now that it all fair points from you. I thought that in the beginning, it was a little too long. I think
Yeah, it was long. It was long.
I think the concert portion of the segment went a little long, where it was like, all right, dude, like we get it. We believe in Ricky and we hate Joe Hendry. I get it. And then, you know, I thought the reveal of Joe Hendry was also a little like, I don't know, I didn't get the pop that I expected, but they did what they needed to do with the guitar smack to the back of Ricky Saints. And with that said, I still think Joe Hendry retains. I just think Ricky Saints is ready for the main roster. And, you know, I know that they had the thing with Ethan and Swipe Right. I feel like it's just time for Ricky to go up to the main roster, and it's going to happen, I think, within the next few months.
I think you're right. I think Joe Hendry's going to retain. This leads to what we were talking about last week, right? If Cody Rhodes turns heel, if the man needs a faction, Ricky Saints doesn't have a championship in NXT. Ethan Page doesn't have a championship in NXT. Would be an awesome call for those two to pair with a heel Cody Rhodes. Biggie said, I'm unsubscribing if I hear any negative talk about Joe Hendry.
No,
Thank
we believe.
God.
We
believe. Thank God you didn't listen to us. Well, to me, like a little bit before he went, when he was original viral, I wasn't sold, but he sold me. I'm a believer. I believe in Joe Hendry. The man is a workhorse. He's talented, super charismatic. Love the man. But yeah, I mean, if they're not champions on the roster and they have a spot to move up, why not have a heel Cody Rhodes with an Ethan Page, with the Ricky Saints? The chemistry they have is awesome. That'd be a fun faction to have. You have those, I was going to say egos, pun intended, with Ethan, with Ricky to help build Cody as a heel, especially if people are trying to still get behind Cody as you know, as a fan. They can just make Cody unbearable, unwatchable with how cringy they can be and how their heel works. So I would love for that to happen.
No, they absolutely could. Stussy on YouTube, they'll have them join the Vision. I wouldn't mind Ricky Saints in the Vision if that's what they end up doing with him, but I also would love him and a heel Cody Rhodes together. So I mean, I'm there for both. Wrestling Junkies podcast. We are going to talk to you guys in a few minutes. Hey, what's up, brother? We'll both see you in a little bit once we finish this up. And then Piggy Banks on YouTube. He should just headline WrestleMania. Joe Hendry should headline Joe Hendry Mania, where Joe Hendry Mania. I don't know. Joe Hendry
just fights everyone for their championships and wins, and he's like the penny gauntlet of championships.
Yeah, exactly. But we are going to wrap up. We do have a little meeting. That's a little teaser. We have a meeting with the Wrestling Junkies podcast right after this. So we have to get to that. Thank you all, 276 of you, for joining. Thank you to everyone in the chat. My Lord. I mean, I don't know if we can name everyone, but thank you all so much for interacting and joining in on the fun. This is what we love. I feel like it's happening more and more and more each and every week now, which is just phenomenal. But please go subscribe to the Body Slam Patreon. The link is down below on the ticker right now. $5 a month, a cup of coffee gets you the exclusive breaking interviews, news, podcasts, and more. Well worth it. You would have had a little tidbit on Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley if you were subscribed, but we gave that to you for free. So thank you all. Go subscribe to Body Slam on all socials at Body Slam Net. And then I'm going to remove the ticker. You have us at the 10 Count Pod on all socials. The YouTube is it's taken off a little bit, which I'm very, very excited about. We've gained several more subscribers this week, and our shorts are absolutely crushing it right now. So very, very excited about that. If you take a look in the top left corner, you have the QR code that will bring you to prowrestlingtees.com. It'll bring you to our official merch website where you can purchase the official 10 count shirt or the official quick count shirt. We would love to see you repping our stuff. Now let's get to ringing that bell, wherever the hell that bell is. because this podcast episode is over. Thank you all once again for joining us. Ty is at TLP_maximum on X. I am at JStar02. If you enjoy our stuff, please go give us a subscribe on YouTube. Give us a like. Give us a thumbs up. How do I get Quinn versus Justin at night one on Mania? I don't think he would. I don't think he would sign up. I don't think he'd sign on to that. Thank you all. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Give us a nice little comment on there. It helps the algorithm. It helps us build and build and build. We appreciate everything. Enjoy the rest of your weeks, guys. Enjoy, once again, SmackDown on Friday. Hopefully we have some interesting stuff that we can talk about on Sunday for the quick count. Until then, it is Ty, it is J-Star, and we are out.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh. Thank